Hello everyone. Is Harvest Moon: The Winds of Anthos the perfect farming sim? Well, it might not be perfect, but I do think it is really, really good. Now, some of us, we've been waiting for this game for 9 long months, but I have to say that it's definitely been worth the wait. This game, I was really worried at certain points that it was not going to come together, but those worries were definitely unfounded because The Winds of Anthos is actually quite a lot of fun. So let's get into the different aspects of this game, and I'll talk about what it does well and what it does maybe not so well. And then I'll just give my final thoughts on The Winds of Anthos. I did get an early review code from Natsume, so thank you guys for that. However, I did pre-order the game. Yeah, even once they told me they were going to give me a review code, I was like, no, I'm not canceling my pre-order. I really need that Sleepy Cow. So in a later video, I definitely will show you guys my Sleepy Cow, whichever card I got, and the art book. First, let's talk about the farming aspect of this game. So the typical farming aspects are, of course, there. You till the soil, you plant the seed, you water it, and then a few days later, you're going to get a crop. This game, in the beginning, you're not really going to be getting that many hybrid crops. You don't start getting hybrid crops until you've harvested the same crop several times, and then it will start to turn into other crops. But in the beginning, you're just going to be getting whatever you planted. Then later, once you start getting hybrid crops, I've noticed that you actually get 2 crops. So you'll get the original crop and you'll get the hybrid crop. I don't know if this happens every time, but the few times that I've gotten hybrid crops, this is how it's worked for me. If you played Harvest Moon 1 World, you'll know that this game is a little bit different than other farming sims in that you don't just go to a store and buy the seeds, you have to find the seeds in the wild from these harvest sprites. You'll walk up to these harvest sprites and you'll talk to them, and then they're going to give you some seeds. This game, it does change it up a little bit, and the ways that it changes it up I actually think are both really good. First, there's these regular sprites that have red coats on. You just walk up to them as normal and they're going to give you a seed. However, there's also these special wisps that are purple. These purple ones, you're going to have to sneak up to them, and then once you sneak up to them and talk to them, then they're going to give you 3 seeds instead of just 1. Another way that this game mixes it up is when you're doing other tasks such as cutting grass, or if you are mining, then bam, maybe a sprite is going to jump out and give you some special seeds. And of course, returning from Harvest Moon 1 World, after you have planted and harvested a certain crop enough times, they're going to start to sell that seed in the store. So what's my opinion on farming in this game? I think farming, it works really well. I quite like it a lot. My only slight complaint is I wish some of the crops sold for more money. Maybe some of the late game crops, they're going to sell for more money, but in the early game, you're definitely not going to want to be growing crops just to make some money because, yeah, they don't sell for that much at all. Another big aspect of this game is the mining system, and I have to say that the mining, again, it's very much improved from the previous Harvest Moon game. In this game, actually, yeah, it's very important to know how it works because it does work differently than a lot of other games. In this game, when you go to the mine, you can push the B button and then you're going to get this like sonar type system where it will show you where something special is hidden. Then you're going to poke around in that area and either A, there's going to be the stairs to the next level, or B, you're going to get a special ore. You can also just mine the ore if you bump into these type of stones. So there's actually 2 different ways that you can be getting the different ores. I think the addition of having that sonar thing is actually really cool, and it's a really good idea, and it actually works really well. In a lot of the previous games, you would just be, constantly taking your hoe and then tilling the ground and just praying that you'd get lucky enough for the stairs to the next level to be there. But in this game, because you can just use your sonar and then, find the areas that are important, everything just works much more smoothly. The mining system in this game, I think, is really good, and I really enjoyed going to the mines. Another big aspect of this game is exploration. Now, this is something that I don't usually say about farming sims, but this is something that really sets The Winds of Anthos apart from other farming games, and that is that there is a huge, massive world to explore in this game. Now, I've been playing this game for about 20 hours, and I haven't even discovered everything in the game yet. So when you go to a new area, first of all, it's going to be blacked out. So it's not like you just walk there and the map starts to update. No, you have to find this harvest goddess statue. And then once you find this statue, that area is going to light up and then that area will be discovered. Once you do that, you can also teleport back to this area. It's really fun to find new areas, and yeah, the whole aspect of exploration, I think it's really good. Now, this system, I think it works really well for the most part. The only slight downside is that because the world is so big, it takes a long time to go from point A to point B. You can use the quick jump to jump from one area to the next. However, yeah, there are definitely going to be times where you're going from one point to the other and you have to go a long way. So in this game, it's really crucial to have a mount, which leads us into our next section, which is the animals. Now, the animals in this game, me personally, there are things that I love about this system, and there's things that I don't like about it so much. As soon as you unlock the barn, you get this really cool equipment that lets you feed the animals automatically, and you can also use that to make more animal feed. In this game, there are two ways to get animals. Number one, just as in any other game, you can go to an animal shop and you can buy some animals. There's also another way to get animals on your farm, and that is by taming them. Now, this system of taming animals, it's actually really fun. When you're exploring the world, you might find some animals, including animals that you've never seen before in a shop. Well, once you get close to them, they're going to have this exclamation point that pops up over their head. If you try to just run up to them, they're going to run away. So as soon as you see that exclamation point, you're going to want to crouch down, and then that last bit of distance, you're just going to want to creep over to that animal and pet them. After you pet them, their friendliness with you is going to go up a little bit, and different animals, they're going to warm up to you at different speeds. So some of the more exotic animals, they're probably only going to raise like 1.5 when you pet them, but some of them they might raise like 2. Once you get them to, I believe it's 80% of friendliness, then you're going to get the option to take them back to your farm. In this game, the animals, there's actually a lot of different animals, and a lot of the different animals, they do different things. So in my game, I got a fox, and every morning he's going to give me some mushrooms. And then what mushroom it is, I guess it's just random. Now, some of the other animals, they're also going to give you different things. Like there's one animal that's going to give you different types of ore. There's one animal that's going to give you different types of food, and things like that. The barn animals, again, they're split into different types. Some of them are going to be mounts, some of them are going to give you eggs, some of them are going to give you milk, and then there's also another type of animal that just is going to give you like a special bonus. For me personally, I have to say that on the whole, I really like this system. I love the taming the wild animals, and I really like that the pets, they have a use. You know, they're going to give you different types of things. However, I do have to say that I was very disappointed when I went through a lot of effort in taming this jaguar. I was so ready to just jump on this jaguar, start running all around the world, and, you know, living my best life. Then I come to find out that actually the jaguar is not a mount. All he does is give you a pretty lame special ability. So yeah, I was a little bit disappointed in that. Also, another slight complaint that I have is that the animal feed is a little bit too difficult to craft. It takes 20 weeds to get one animal feed. 20. I wish the game kind of encouraged you more to have more animals, and I think they could have done that if it was easier to craft the animal feed. But yeah, 20 weeds to just get one animal feed, that's a lot. I'm sure this won't be a late game problem, but in the early game, it kind of limits you in terms of how many animals you can raise. Also, I was shocked to find that there's no sell option. Like, you can't sell any of the animals on your farm. You just let them go. And when you let them go, it's just like, bam, they're gone. There's no cutscene. They don't give you any money. They don't give you a parting gift. Like, the animal just leaves. Personally, I think on the whole, the animal system, I do love that there's a lot of unique animals. I love that the pets now give you items, and I like the system as a whole, but yeah, I do have a few complaints here and there about the animal system. Next, let's talk about the fishing aspect of this game. In this game, you're going to throw out your line, and then the fish will see the bob, and it'll bite down on it, and then there'll be that exclamation point, and then you're going going to move your joystick in the opposite direction that the fish is trying to pull you. Then, of course, you're going to be holding the A button, and then slowly, bam, you can catch the fish. Now, I do have to say that if you want to make money in the early game, you're definitely going to want to fish. I was really shocked when I was fishing and then I went to go sell the fish that I had caught, and bam, one of them was worth 1,000 gold, which in this game is a lot. I was just like, wow, why can't any of my crops be worth 1,000 gold? But yeah, in this game, if you want to make money in the early game, definitely go fishing. The last aspect that I want to talk about is the social aspect of this game. I would say that the social aspect of this game is slightly better than I was expecting. The marriage candidates, of course, they all have heart scenes, and on the heart scenes, there's going to be dialogue choices, which, you know, is pretty standard in these games. And I haven't gotten to go on too many dates as of yet, but the dates that I did go on, I quite enjoyed the scenes. It seems like this game as a whole, they've put a lot more emphasis on some of the cutscenes. And it's kind of almost like they saw fan reaction to other games saying like, oh, I don't like the fact that, you know, there's only one model for food. And then in this game, like, they go overboard by having different types of food that the characters are eating in the different scenes. And yeah, just everything is animated. And a lot of the scenes, like, they're very dynamic. So that's definitely something to look forward to if that's something that you care about. There's definitely a lot of cutscenes in this game. And I do have to say that the storyline in general, like the main storyline, it's also a little bit better than I was expecting. Okay, now that we've covered all the different aspects of this game, I just wanted to end with a few tidbits about things that I liked and things that I didn't. Things that I liked, I have to say that I really love the graphical style of this game. There's a lot of really beautiful scenery in this game. I'm actually kind of really impressed by some of the different special effects and just some of the really beautiful landscapes that you can find in this game. You know, you can find a rainbow, there's a volcano, there's waterfalls, there's rivers. Yeah, all those things are really cool. Now let's talk about some of the things that I didn't really like so much. There are a few frame drops every now and then, but me personally, it didn't bother me. And I have to say that there's less frame drops than I was anticipating, I think I would say. Like, usually, for me anyway, it's like I'll leave my home and then it'll stutter a little bit and then it'll be fine. And then maybe if I'm riding my mount and I go over a long distance really quickly, then yeah, maybe the game is going to stutter then. For me, I've been playing on the Switch, and yeah, I was really worried that the Switch was not going to be able to handle this game very well. But yeah, I was actually quite impressed that it runs pretty smoothly. Well, it runs pretty smoothly, but yeah, there are going to be a few times when it stutters a little bit. I did run into a bug or two. Yeah, so my advice is if you see something weird in the mines, don't go running to check it out because you might get trapped in this little room. So, much like I said in my previous video about who's going to like Harvest Moon: The Winds of Anthos and who's not, I actually think that I was dead on in my predictions. If you don't like open worlds, you're not going to like this game. This game, it takes the open world concept and it runs with it. Like, there are definitely going to be times where you have to go from point A to point B, and it's going to take you a while. If that bothers you, then yeah, you're not going to like this game. So, what are my final thoughts? I have to say that I was really looking forward to this game, and I was actually a little bit scared that Natsume might drop the ball by, I don't know, having frame drops all the time, or just making some aspect of the game kind of annoying that kind of like dragged everything down. But I have to say that this time they actually hit the ground running, and they've made a really good game this time. Harvest Moon: The Winds of Anthos, I would recommend it to everyone except for people who don't like open worlds, and if you're worried about the open world being a little bit too empty. Now, for me, personally, I don't feel like it's super full and lively, but it's also not quite empty either. I would say it's somewhere in between. Like, there are definitely things to do throughout the world, and it is fun and exciting to explore it. But yeah, there are also definitely sections where it's a little bit on the empty side. So if that's something that bothers you, then I would say don't pick this game up. But if you like farming sims and you are okay with open worlds, then I would definitely recommend this game to you. If you've been playing Harvest Moon: The Winds of Anthos, please let me know in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on the game? And I'll see you guys next time.